Forget 1,000 things every day. How about you make sure this is one of them?
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we are taking a look at the best-selling game on every PlayStation console. For this list, we'll be looking at each PlayStation console released, including handheld consoles, and the games that ended up being purchased more than any other during their lifespan. From PS1 to PS5, let's see who took the top spots. Which games do you think should have sold better? Let us know in the comments below. Before we continue, we publish content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of our latest videos. PlayStation 1, Gran Turismo. The console that changed the game. The PS1 was a landmark in gaming history and gave us some of the greatest video games of all time. Final Fantasy VII, Crash Bandicoot, Tekken 3, every game in the top highest selling list is amazing in its own way. But the highest selling PS1 game can only go to one game, and that is Gran Turismo. Selling almost 11 million copies, Gran Turismo offered a pick-up-and-play immersive racing simulator which could be enjoyed multiplayer from the comfort of your own couch. The development of Gran Turismo took 5 years with a very small team, with the lead developer stating, "It took 5 years. In those 5 years, we could not see the end. I would wake up at work, go to sleep at work. I estimate I was home only 4 days a year." The end result? Well, we think it was worth it. PlayStation 2, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Die, little glass baller, fool!
The PS2 was not only the highest selling video game console of all time, but many consider it to simply be the best video game console of all time. The console's top sellers include games like Final Fantasy X, a turning point for JRPGs, Metal Gear Solid 2, one of the most innovative and original action games ever made, and Kingdom Hearts, quite possibly one of the most fun games ever made. But one game outsold the rest by a mile, selling 17 million copies, 4 million more than the second highest selling game. And that game was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. GTA San Andreas took everything from the previous entry and turned the knob to 11. With a storyline that felt mature and also very fun, the game really crafted a rich world. The game included more sim-style character customizations and features by the bucket load, including swimming, a multi-biomed open world, gun and weapon customization, and of course, a jetpack.
Oh shit, here we go again.
PlayStation Portable, Grand Theft Auto, Liberty City Stories.
JD, you saw that? You're filming me?
Congratulations, Rockstar, you did it again. The PSP was a console packed with opportunity. It was an incredibly powerful little system with, contrary to popular belief, a great selection of exclusive games. Unfortunately, even though it was far more powerful than the Nintendo DS, it couldn't beat that Nintendo marketing and fell in the shadows of the handheld mammoths. Daxter, God of War Chains of Olympus, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, all great games, but Rockstar smashed them all with GTA Liberty City Stories, selling 8 million copies. They also took the number 2 spot with Vice City Stories, so they seem to know what they're doing. GTA Liberty City Stories was incredibly approachable to fans of the series as it took a world we already knew and gave us a brand spanking new story. A genius move from a development point of view, the game was incredibly fun and gave us a chance to play GTA anywhere, anytime. The PSP is an underrated piece of kit, and may it rest in peace.
I warn you, I'm a man of peace.
PlayStation 3, Grand Theft Auto 5.
I saw your face, I'll remember you. Forget 1,000 things every day. How about you make sure this is one of them?
Surprise, surprise, Rockstar takes home another medal for best money-making geniuses in game development. Grand Theft Auto 5 in 2023 is still one of the most popular games of all time, but let's not forget its original launch on the PS3 and its record sales of almost 30 million copies. That's a lot of money! To put that in perspective, it had 20 million more sales than the second highest selling game on the PS3, beating out classics like The Last of Us, Uncharted, God of War 3, Metal Gear Solid 4, and Dark Souls. Grand Theft Auto 5 was one of the highest anticipated game releases of all time, with some of the best trailers gaming had ever seen, and some of the most modern game mechanics gaming had ever seen. With an incredible single-player campaign that people are still enjoying to this day, and an online world that is a masterclass in creating online worlds with longevity, it's no wonder this game took the top spot.
Will you tell me the story about that boy, Trisha?
PlayStation Vita, Uncharted Golden Abyss.
Well, since when are you a rock climber?
I'm not. I'm a rope climber.
Cute.
The PlayStation Vita is often considered a failure, and it's easily the least successful console on this list. But even though it failed to provide enough software support between first-party and third-party titles to get the Vita a solid library of games, that doesn't mean it didn't have a few gems in its arsenal. Persona 4, Black Ops Declassified, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, all bangers on the handheld console, but Uncharted Golden Abyss gave us the entry in the series we didn't know we needed. As the prequel to the original game, it was an entry that wasn't necessary to play, but was perfect for fans of the series who also got their hands on the Vita. A brief and exciting entry in the series that unfortunately didn't sell that well, even as the top seller. PlayStation 4, Marvel's Spider-Man.
All units, level 4 mobilization. Location, Fisk Tower.
The PlayStation 4 had some of the best console exclusives gaming has ever seen. God of War, The Last of Us Part 2, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Ghost of Tsushima, all games that sold like hotcakes on release. But one game unexpectedly took the top spot for sales by creating a game and story that was not only phenomenal, but surprising given the recent lackluster releases from that IP. Marvel's Spider-Man. Selling 20 million copies, Marvel's Spider-Man combined a really gripping story with gameplay that was consistently enjoyable. Honestly, game devs, make your combat dynamic and varied and you will keep gamers involved for hours straight. The game spawned a spin-off Miles Morales sequel and a second entry soon to release. Spider-Man has one of the most fun and interesting traversal styles, and even for casual gamers, swinging around the city was worth the price tag alone. PlayStation VR, Beat Saber. Sure, the PlayStation VR isn't technically a console on its own, but virtual reality is becoming more and more a staple in modern gaming and is worth mentioning on this list, even if it still needs a system attached to it for it to play. There are so many great VR games available for PSVR users. Gorn, Job Simulator, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, but it is Beat Saber who takes the top spot. Beat Saber is not only the highest selling VR game on PlayStation, but the second highest on Steam, where the VR competition is much steeper. The game is a music rhythm game reminiscent of Guitar Hero, where the player has to use their saber to hit or beat blocks that are timed to music as they approach the player. It's stimulating for the brain and the body, and also very satisfying to watch for friends in the room and for others online. PlayStation 5, Demon's Souls. Game sales for current-gen consoles are actually a lot harder to quantify than one might think. Not only is the console still selling, still releasing games, and still a constant in the industry, but the sheer rise in digital purchases with digital-only consoles, game subscription services, and free releases makes it hard to decide what top sales actually means. For this entry, we are going to look at straight sales for games that have only released on the PS5 and no other console. And taking the number one spot in that category is Demon's Souls. The library for the PS5 is deep, but only a few releases have hit PS5 exclusively. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart almost took the spot, but with 500,000 more sales, this classic remake is the winner. Demon's Souls was a floor-to-ceiling remake of the PS3 entry that began the Souls genre, and spawned countless games ending with the current Elden Ring. The unforgiving nature of the original remains, but with updated visuals and a solid frame rate that makes it far more enjoyable and accessible for modern gamers. Sorry, what was that? Have I beaten it, me personally? How about you mind your own damn business? I don't need to explain myself to you.
That monster leaves a trail of charred carcasses, which is great for business, of course.
PlayStation VR 2, Horizon Call of the Mountain.
There. Can't walk in the light, can't see in the light, right?
I know. This is the entry you've all been waiting for. Our final console to check off and our most recent release, the PSVR 2, has barely had time to breathe before we start dissecting its sales. Horizon Call of the Mountain seems to be the clear winner for most downloads, and even though it's far more linear than the straight console version in the series, it's undeniably beautiful. These gimmicky takes on popular series in order to sell VR to the general public have proven to be fairly average, but Horizon Call of the Mountain is handled with a level of care and attention that makes it feel like a full game. Which it is. At 7 hours straight and 10 to 14 hours for completionists, the game has a significant amount of juice in there for players to drink up. This is an entry that unfortunately not everyone will get a chance to play, but if you can make it happen, make it happen. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos.